all 49 states. Now, why do I say all 49? Because I don't think I want to go out to, as beautiful as it is, I don't think I want to go out to Hawaii. But I'll go to Alaska and any of the other lower 48 states. Hawaii would be fun, but I just, that's a long trip. I mean, I might as well. I think I'm closer to going to Europe than I am Hawaii. Actually, that's truthful, right? Yeah. So Hawaii would be extremely a long trip. Well, I guess I shouldn't say no to Hawaii. If somebody wants to bring me out to Hawaii, then I guess I probably should be flattered and go. But that's just a long trip. Really is. And, someday I'd like to vacation there. Yeah, someday. But, I'm here on the East Coast, so that's a very long trip. There's a lot of people talking about this whole Planned Parenthood thing. That video about Planned Parenthood. Look, I have told people for years and years that aborting a baby is the same thing as murder. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now, personally, I believe that life begins at conception. But, you got the left who's always talking about, well, you need to compromise. So I've said, yeah, fine. I'll compromise. Why don't we do this? Well, before we do this, let me ask you this question. When does medical science say that you're dead? Life is, over. There's no chance of bringing you back, whatever. All you can do is be on a life support machine, but as soon as they unplug you, you're gone. There's no way you'll ever come back. And most liberals will pick up on that and say, well, when there's no brain activity, when you're brain dead, you're done. Great. So then you can honestly say that brain activity is probably a strong indicator of life, right? They will all say, yes, that makes sense. Yes, we can agree with that. Yes, brain activity means you're alive. Because they think brain activity means, well, it has nothing to do with the soul. So they'll go for that right off the bat. Yeah, brain activity. We know that you got these certain brain waves. Some of them will know that they're alpha, beta, and all that kind of stuff, and theta waves and that kind of stuff. But most of them just say, yeah, you got brain activity or brain waves, and if there aren't any, then you're dead. You're gone forever. But if you got them, you're still alive. Okay, fine. So then, would you not then agree that brain activity equals life? Well, yeah, I just said it. Great. So when you can detect brain wave activity in a fetus, would you then not say that child is now alive and is a human being? And they all stutter because they've just been caught. Well, they can't live with outside the. Oh yeah, you'd be surprised how soon a child is born that they can survive and even grow up normally. Sure, some premature babies have some health issues for the rest of their life, but many, especially with modern medical science today, many of them are able to grow up with no problems whatsoever. Normal. Well, you can't. So, you're telling me that in order for life to begin, you actually have to be born. In order to be born, the mother has to want you to be born. Well, no. Well, that's what you're saying. No. Well, if life ends when there is no brain activity, then it must be that when there is brain activity, there's life. I would say, there's my compromise. No abortion at the moment of brain activity, which is somewhere around the end of the first trimester, beginning of the second. So there would be no late-term abortions. Now, I would say to them, okay, I'm willing to meet you halfway. There you go, right there. Well, no, that woman still has a right to do. That's all I hear is a woman has a right to do with her body as she pleases. No, she doesn't. Does a woman have a right to kill herself? Well, no, she doesn't. She'll get locked up. Does a woman have a right to cut herself open to get the baby out? No, they'll lock her up. So this whole notion that the woman gets to do whatever she wants with her body is a lie. Now, hey, if there is no life in that woman's stomach, then how is it that liberals have also helped pass laws that say, if you kill a pregnant lady, that's 2 murders? The baby and the mom. Well, wait a minute. That's not a baby. That's a lump of flesh. Just a bunch of cells. There's no baby in there. There's no human being in her stomach yet. Baby hasn't been born. But yet and still, we've got laws all across these 50 United States that's a double homicide. And in some cases, that advances the case to capital punishment. But how can that be what if the mom was on her way to an abortion clinic for a late-term abortion? Well, still a baby in there. Well, no, it's not a baby because you said it's not a baby so the mom can kill the baby, but an outsider can't. See, this is all a bunch of hypocritical nonsense, and you can trip them up every single time because they'll stutter, they'll fall down on their face. They have I was just listening to Sean tear apart this one woman today about this whole thing. And, she thought she was really smart and intelligent. Sean, let me tell you one thing. Don't even go there. And Sean went there and really pretty much destroyed her argument. They're not as smart as they like you to think that they are. And they're not. And so when you offer a compromise, like I always do, now it's just theoretical compromise. I'm still not backing off from the fact that life begins at conception. But if they want to compromise, there's a compromise. If they say that life ends with no brain activity, then it obviously has to begin when there's brain activity. And if they're not willing to accept that, but yet and still, a woman could be on the way to an abortion clinic for a late-term abortion, and she gets murdered by somebody else. Maybe the guy's driving a car, drunken driving. Well, he's going to get hit with 2 homicides. One for the mom and one for the unborn child, even though the mom might be wanting to get rid of the child. So how is that plausible? It's not. And this is how you catch them every single time. And they'll reveal themselves to be evil, murderous scumbags every single time. They'll try to go, well, I'm for choice. Oh, you're for choice to kill a person then. Fine. Why don't you just go stand over there and I'll shoot you in the head? Well, no. Well, you just said you're for choice. You're pro-choice. It's the same thing. There is no difference. There's no such thing as pro-choice as they would like to have you believe. It's either pro-abortion or anti-abortion. I'm anti-abortion. Plain and simple. I'm not going to be squeamish about it. I'm not going to back away from it. And people will just have to, hey, I think a woman doesn't have the right to end somebody else's life. Because if that child is born, all of a sudden, now the mom doesn't have a right to do anything to it, to end its life. So why does she have the right simply because it's hooked up to her with an umbilical cord? That's not right. It's wrong. And what's more is the left that supports this kind of crap knows it's wrong. The only reason they're for abortion is because it's a booming business that they make lots and lots of money on. And this whole notion and about this taped video or secret video about Planned Parenthood is right on the money. I've been saying that Planned Parenthood makes a huge profit on murdering babies from the beginning, and the American government should not be subsidizing it to the tune of $500 million a year. Not with my tax dollars. Not anymore. No, thank you. And they got caught. It's kind of like Acorn. Remember Acorn? Oh, that's not really happening. Oh, bullshit. It's not really happening. It is really happening. And the same thing, well, they're donating that. No, she didn't say anything about donating lungs, hearts, and livers. She talked about selling them for about, what was it, $30 to $100? That sounds like selling to me, not donating. Don't let them try to fool you on this one, folks. It's evil. I'm just going to call it like I see it. It's evil. It's devilish. This is coming something straight from Satan himself. No ifs, ands, or buts about that one. This whole notion that they're providing a medical service is a crock. Because they're ripping apart human beings. Don't even call them a baby anymore. They're just a human being. And they're literally ripping them apart, tearing them apart, crushing their bones. She said, well, I'll crush above or I'll crush below, the torso, just so as long as I don't damage the heart, lungs, or liver. I don't know but I hear that, I kind of cringe every time I hear it. Crush. I'm going to crush a baby's head. I'm going to crush a baby's leg so I can get to the torso. What type of, that would be something that Hitler would have said. Who are these people to even think like this and to be able to eat and drink over this kind of conversation? I'm surprised that, I don't know how the undercover reporters or whoever they were in the sting operation, I don't know I don't know if they were eating. I don't know how they held anything down, because that would have been so disgusting to me. And I can take a lot that I would have wanted to excuse myself to go to the bathroom to vomit. Because that is just pure, unadulterated evil, and it's disgusting to the highest order. I put that kind of woman, that kind of, well, she's a doctor, right? I put her in the same class as all the evil dictators who have ever lived on this planet that have killed people simply for them keeping and gaining power and riches. They're in the same class as far as I'm concerned. And someday history will judge them the same. I'm fully confident of that. And this whole notion that Planned Parenthood is doing something good for... first of all, this planet is not overpopulated. And second of all, out of the millions of children that we have murdered in the womb, can we honestly say that one of them did not have the ability to find the cure for anything else in this world, or find the technology for something new that we just can't seem to get right now? We're wasting human potential. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a sin. That's a sin of the highest order. I know God doesn't classify, different levels of sin, but sin is a sin to him. But to human beings, we classify things. And for us, that is a sin of the highest order. You cannot be more evil and more sinister than wanting to willingly, in the life, being very gruesome about ending the life of a baby. Sorry, folks, I'm just not, there is no possible logical way to convince me that it is okay to murder another human being that hasn't even had the chance at life that hasn't had the chance to be born, that hasn't had the chance to hear its name called. That's not, no, that's just